If I asked you what your most profitable job type is, would you actually know? Hey tradies, welcome back to the Hey Tradies podcast. I'm Amanda Fleming, your host from Virtual Coastie, helping tradies get systems sorted, get paid faster, and get some time outside of the business. Now, in today's episode, things are going to be a little bit different because I'm actually going to do a live screen share as I record this episode. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just know there's going to be a video version where I'm physically walking through inside Fergus. And honestly, I think this is one of the most important things tradies can learn once they get a bit established in business. Because if I asked you right now, what is your most profitable type of job? Would you actually know? Not guess, not I think so, not the biggest invoice. Actually know. Because bigger revenue doesn't automatically mean better profit. I think a lot of tradies get trapped chasing bigger jobs, more work, bigger invoices, busier schedules, without actually stopping to ask, what work actually makes us the best money? And more importantly, what work can we systemize and repeat efficiently? Because honestly, I don't think most tradies need more jobs. I think they need more of the right jobs. Now, this episode was inspired by another podcast I listened to recently, where they were talking about identifying the most profitable work in your business. Things like drain and blocks, hot water installations, repeatable maintenance jobs, the smaller, faster jobs that can be systemized really well. And it got me thinking about Fergus, because this is exactly the kind of thing Fergus can help you uncover if you're entering your information properly. Because not all jobs are created equal. Some jobs blow out in labour, create callbacks, create admin headaches, drag on forever, get invoiced late, get paid late, and some jobs quote quickly, run smoothly, get invoiced quickly, get paid quickly, create great margins and are easy to repeat. And often the really profitable work isn't actually the flashy work. Sometimes it's the boring, repeatable work, the stuff you can get really good at. So what I'm going to do now is jump over to Fergus and walk you through how I would start identifying these. Now, if you're only listening to the audio version, I will still talk through as clearly as I can, but this part is going to be a little bit more free flow because I'll physically be sharing my screen while I'm recording. And I think it's actually useful because I want you to see that this doesn't need to be perfect or complicated. You just need to start looking at the information. So I've just jumped into Fergus, and so we're on the home screen. So if you move your, if you go to your report section, which is the 3 lines on the right-hand side, go to reports, scroll right down to your WIP report. This is your WIP report, okay, or work in progress. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take it back to the 1st of January. Okay, and then we're going to customize it. Now, I recommend that you actually save this format so that you can quickly go back to it any point during the month. So you can, normally I toggle these off so that I'm only seeing the active. This is really good for end of month checking that you have invoiced every single job. And it helps you find the ones that you may have missed. So I tick in the columns, I tick title, site address, and profit. Okay. And we will come back to the group shortly. So we run that again. You'll see now here, this is a test Fergus group, so it's not as, the data's not as accurate as yours will be. Okay, so you've got here the date that the jobs were created, the job number. Now, when you need to drill into a particular job, always hold down your control button and then click the job number, and it will open the new job in a new tab. Okay, so your WIP report here, you've got whether it's charge up or quoted, so you could filter that as well, but I tend to just look at all the jobs. You've got active, which is what we've selected, who the customer is, the job title, the site address. Okay, the total chargeable, the total cost of the job. We've got the priced, so what was quoted. You've got your actual margin here. So you'll see that some of these are in red. Okay, so those are the ones that you really want to have a look at and see what the story is. You've got the margin that you had priced at. Okay, whether you made a profit and how much. Okay, any uninvoiced jobs, and then the total that has been invoiced. So if we look at that first line there, we've got some extra costs on there that haven't been invoiced. Looks like there has been a smaller invoice. So if we jump into the job here, we can see that that has been invoiced. But if we're having a look at the financial summary, there's a lot more costs on there. So then we can delve into that a little bit more. And we can see there's some more invoices being added on there. Okay. But we won't go into that too far. So along here, you can see. So what we're actually going to do, so this is the view that I recommend. If you come up to, if you're in Google Chrome, if you click on this star, you can bookmark this report. Okay, and I do recommend that you do that. So then this is a way that you can filter down if you've got all the active jobs, or perhaps you select completed instead, and you run those. Then you can actually see what has made you money, has it made you enough, and then allows you to delve into which ones perhaps have not. Okay, now if we go back to the beginning, we've got this group, hot water cylinder. Okay. This is a great way to help start filtering your jobs. So if we go back to the home screen here, okay, if you come over to your little icon here on the right hand side, scroll down to settings, and then on the left hand scroll right down to the bottom, and you've got groups. So you will see here that I have got a couple of different ones in here. So you can either add these on afterwards, or you can, the groups to a job, you could do it afterwards, or the best thing to do is have a new rule that you set a job to have a group in it. It has to have a group. So as you'll see, I've got here a couple of maintenance job types and some projects. Then we've got sort of the individual type of jobs. And if you've identified particular types of jobs that perhaps you want to focus on, then you could have those set up. With the you can also have, if you've got, for example, plumbers, if you've got a plumbing business, but some of you guys have got gas fitters, for the maintenance for the groups, you can actually add users. So then you could select just the people that can do the gas work, and then that can also help speed up scheduling, because you're only pulling up the schedule for the people that can actually do that particular type of work. Yeah, so that's the groups part. So if we come back to the WIP report and select one that doesn't have a group and say, we'll check this one. Okay, if you go to the job summary here, this is how you add it on after a job has been created. So if we just select that was plumbing, you can also have multiple. So perhaps they've got plumbing and gas works. So you can do that with the groups. When you're creating a new job, so you can come here. That's the job templates. Okay, so you could set up as a quote or charge up. unblock. And so here you've got group tracking. So then you can select that, that's a drain unblock, and then you can create the job. Because we're just going to pull that up and you will see that it's only brought up 2 people. So we've got Andrea and Calwinda for being able to schedule this job to. And if you went to tomorrow where it's not a public holiday, then you can schedule. Okay, so that's how you do your groups. Now, if we come back to our WIP report here and we run it again, okay, so then we've got the other different groups. And so then what we can then do is we go, okay, we just want to have a look at the plumbing type of jobs, and you run it again in there. You can just see all of your plumbing jobs. So that is how I would use Fergus and the WIP report to help narrow down making sure that jobs are profitable. Now, one of the features I really like inside Fergus is using groups, which I've shown you here, because this allows you to categorize different types of work. For example, maintenance, project work, emergency call-outs, hot water cylinders, heat pumps, whatever makes sense for your business. Then suddenly you can start filtering and comparing job types properly. And this is where things get interesting, because now you can ask, which jobs consistently make good margins? Which jobs are blowing out in labour? Which jobs invoice faster? Which jobs get paid fastest? And which jobs create less stress? Which jobs create callbacks? And this is where tradies start moving from just staying busy to actually running the business strategically. Profit does not always equal revenue. One thing I want to touch on quickly is profit margins, because I think this gets misunderstood a lot. Just because a job had a good gross profit inside Fergus doesn't automatically mean that the business made great money overall, because your labour rates need to recover overheads too. Things like vehicles, phone, software, office wages, ACC, KiwiSaver, insurance, downtime, quoting time, admin, and every business is different. A business with 10 staff has a very different overheads to an owner-operator. So this is why understanding your numbers matter so much. Job gross profit and business net profit are not the same thing. And if you're under-recovering your labour costs, some jobs that look profitable actually aren't. Why repeatable work wins. Now, this is a really interesting part. The more repeatable the work is, the more systemized and efficient it can become. And yes, sometimes repeatable work sounds boring, but boring can be profitable, because when your team repeatedly does the same type of work, they get faster, quoting is easier, systems improve, checklists improve, templates improve, scheduling gets easier, stock management improves. And this is where Fergus templates can be incredibly powerful, because when you identify a profitable type of work, stop recreating the wheel every time. How to use the new template feature. Because if you've got jobs you do regularly, build templates, build recurring workflows, build standard labour allocations, build material lists, build checklists. The amount of admin time is saved is huge. Instead of manually rebuilding jobs every single time, you're just duplicating and adjusting. And this speeds up quoting, scheduling, invoicing, and job creation. Consistency across the team. And honestly, consistency is one of the biggest profit multipliers in trade businesses. Specializing slightly. Now, I'm not saying that you should only ever do one thing, but I do think there's huge value in becoming known for a certain type of work, because your marketing starts clearly communicating, we specialize in heat pump installs, we specialize in hot water cylinders, we specialize in emergency lighting, we specialize in recurring maintenance. And then suddenly your quoting gets tighter, your systems improve, your templates improve, your team gets better, your marketing gets easier, your referrals improve. You become known for something, and that creates momentum. Callbacks and bad jobs. Quickly touching on callbacks too. Callbacks absolutely kill profitability. A job can look profitable initially until someone has to drive back across town twice. So when you're reviewing job types, don't just look at the invoice value. Look at labor recovery, callback frequency, admin time, stress, scheduling impacts, because the best jobs are usually the ones that run smoothly, get paid quickly, create low stress, create repeatability. So here's what I want you to do this week. Jump into Fergus, pull up your WIP report for the last month. Start looking for patterns. If you're not already using groups inside Fergus to categorize job types, start now, because you can't improve what you're not tracking. Now, I'm actually building a profitability calculator to help tradies work through this properly. So by the time this episode goes live, there will be a link below where you can download that free calculator. It'll help you start understanding labor recovery, margins, overhead recovery, profitable job types, because once you know what work actually makes you money, you can start intentionally chasing more of it. And honestly, that's where business gets a whole lot easier. Catch you in the next episode. If you've got something out of today's episode, do me a favor and share it with another tradie. If you're enjoying the podcast, a quick follow or rating on your favorite podcast app goes a long way. It helps more tradies find the show and get their business sorted.